You can't have a perfect relationship, write about one. And so I wrote this story called The Red Rings, and The Red Rings is about what I feel is a perfect, but yet not so perfect relationship. And what happened in this relationship is how people got treated in 1933. And so, and the Depression had come about, but the Depression really never hurt us, because we were already under depression. So when it happened, it's like a man said, you know, I don't have any shoes. And the guy says, oh, I don't either, but I've been walking so long barefoot and my feet so tough, it don't make no difference. You know, so in this one particular, series of the Red Rings, Hattie Johnson and Willie Johnson have been working for 30 years as sharecroppers. And as they have been working, they have finally got in a position. They have finally got into a position to have their own land. To have their own land. Well, at this particular point, Hattie and Willie have gone down to the courthouse to meet Matt. He's made them stay there all day because he's got to sign this land over to them. And he's the meanest white man you ever did see. He's about 7 feet tall with his cowboy boots on. And he wears a rattlesnake hat with the fangs showing as if it's going to jump right off of his hat and bite you. And he doesn't like black folks. It's always the N-word this and the N-word that. So, at this point, Willie and Hattie have gotten in the wagon. And, well, first, he tried to pull a trick on them. He wanted them to sign the deed in pencil. And Willie said, no, sir, if it's all the same to you, sir. Now, Willie can speak as well as anybody. But he says, yes, sir, and no, sir. Because after all, this is 1933. These were terrible times. But when Willie and Hattie get along, they speak languages. They speak French to each other. And they're highly intelligent. But you can't be like that in 1933. In fact, in 1933, for those people who didn't know, when I'm talking like I talk to kids, when a white person walked down the sidewalk, nothing he'd ever seen before in his life. Well, naturally, they fell in love. The Indians even paid a tribute to her and built a hut, just like the one she had in Africa. As far as you could see around the woods in the wilderness, there were trees with carvings of Africa that she drew the pictures, and the Indians would make the carvings to make up to their home. She was their princess, like none other. Willie's father, great-grandfather was born. He looked just like Willie looks today. Passiola, he was going hunting for deer and buck. But the white man thought he was a slave, runaway. Even though he had long flowing locks of hair, beautiful as anything you've ever seen, they thought he was a slave. They shaved his head and took him to the plantation. They left him there. Passiola went looking for him. And Passiola told his wife, he said, I will bring my son home. And I promise you, I will not come home until I have brought him home. Passiola never found him. And to this day, Pasciola's ghost roams the woods looking for his son. He's seen Willie, and he thinks that's who he is, but he doesn't know how to tell it because it's been so long. And he's taking Willie to see the beavers. Willie is walking with his great-great-grandfather, who is a ghost, but he has no idea that's who he is. And he walks, and he takes Willie to a place, and he says, Willie says, I don't rightly know. I've been this way before. And he says, yonder there are beavers. Passiola shows him and teaches him everything about beavers. He brings the beavers back home. The beavers build the dam. And when the beavers build the dam, they drain the swamp. They have 40 acres.
They are just being so rude.
They have 40 acres of the most fertile land that you have ever seen. For 1,000 years, this swamp, for 1,000 years, this swamp has been nurturing the soil. It is fertile. It is black. Dr. George Washington Carver comes over from Tuskegee, and Booker T. Washington comes, and they are talking to the farmers about how to grow things. And Dr. Carver tells Willie, he says, this is the most fertile soil I've ever seen before in my life. Well, Willie and Hattie out there one day working working in the swamp, tilling it and getting it ready to be farmed. When they come across a big link chain in the ground, Willie takes the chain and he follows it to the end. And when he does, right at the end of it is this huge chest. In this chest, Willie and Hattie has no idea what's in it. Willie says, Hattie, go and get a crowbar. They go and get the crowbar and they pry open this huge chest. When they pry this chest open, the gold in it is so shiny. It shines like a rainbow. Willie looks at Hattie. He says, Hattie, do you see what I see? Look at that. She says, it's not real. It can't be real. Willie says, I bet you it is. He reaches down in the chest and grabs a corn and bites into it. And his teeth sinks into it. Willie says, Hattie, mate, hot tomato. There's gold. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Look at that. And then he starts looking around. He says, you wonder they still know it's here? But what are we going to do with it, Willie? What are we going to do with all this here gold? Because you know them white folks kill us dead and catch us with this gold. Lord, what are we going to do? Willie said, I don't know. Go get the ox. Hattie go get the ox. She brings the ox back. Willie puts a slab on it and pulls the chest with the ox up onto the back of the wagon. When he pulls the chest up onto the back of the wagon, he gets it to the house. They slide it off onto the front porch. The gold is so heavy, the porch cracked. Now, a buffalo soldier had given Willie a buffalo blanket. Willie didn't know what to do. As they were shoving and sliding that big heavy chest of gold, they heard graveling, and the car coming down the road. Hattie Mae turned and looked over her shoulder. She said, Lord have mercy, Willie, don't look now. Here come Mad Mac. Mad Mac was coming down the road in his red pickup truck that backfires often. He did a hook slide into Willie's road, coming down toward Willie's house. Hattie threw that buffalo blanket over that chest of gold and helped Willie slide up against the wall. When Mad Mac saw Willie and Hattie sitting down there, they didn't have to work no more for everybody else to get up early in the morning because they're now landowners. They can work when they feel like it. So they sat down like they were just having a nice, cool morning. Mad Mac came down that hill, and when he got close enough, he jammed his brakes and hook slid. The slide of that truck threw gravel and dirt all over Hattie and Willie. Even made the mule cough. Willie stood there not knowing what to do. Mad Max stepped down out that truck, reached down and grabbed a blade of grass and stuck it between his teeth. Willie had been giving away the fish that came out the swamp. He told everybody for a nip, there's enough fish here to feed the whole county. Come down here with buckets and come down here with tubs. You can get all the fish you want. Well, Mad Max had heard about it. So he come down and he telling Willie, I didn't tell you to give away no fish, boy. Look at him. I gave you that swamp now, but I ain't gave you my fish. And what you doing give away my fish? And you go get me a bucket of fish. You go get me a bucket of fish right now, boy. You hear me? Willie said, you bring anything to put the fish in inside? No, boy, don't you give me none of your back talk. Now you go get me my fish. And while you do, I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to take company with this here pretty wife of yours. Now for 15 years, Mad Mac been pushing Willie around. Willie's voice ain't never got above a whisper. But he done gone and done the unthinkable. He done put his hands on Hattie Mae. Woo! Willie went in the house and reached up on the wall. He grabbed his shotgun Bessie. Double barrel, double up buck. Went in that drawer and got those shells and loaded that shotgun and cocked it hard and loud with anger. So much so, Mad Mac could hear that shotgun getting cocked from the one-bedroom shack. All of a sudden, he began to get a little leery. Willie stepped out on that porch, and when he stepped out on that porch, Mad Mac said, now look at him, boy. He was sitting there, the snatch Hattie Mae down his lap, reached down into his boots, and pulled out his Arkansas toothpick. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, an Arkansas toothpick is a very large, very big knife. Some folks call it a Bowie knife. It's about 2 inches long and more than a foot. And he was cleaning his dirty nails with the tip of it, sucking on his teeth, making eyes at Hattie like she was his woman. He says, I said, boy, what you gonna do with that shotgun, boy? Willie said, I was fixing to kill your snakes up. He comes round here regular, messing with me and my wife. And I tell you, son, today is the day him gonna get it for sure. Willie stepped down off that porch, and when Willie stepped down off that porch, he made a notion to let one of them barrels go off. Boom! Knocked a hole in the ground big as a dishpan. The hairs on the back of Mad Mac's neck stood up like soldiers at attention. He said, boy, look at him. I think I'll come and get that fish another time. He got up, had a hat made away from him, and sat to the far end of the porch. She was sitting there patting her foot with her arms folded as if to say, you fouled me, sir. Mad Mac eased his way to that red pickup truck and closed the door. And normally when he leave there, that truck tire was spitting gravel. But this time, he drove like he had some sense. Hattie Mae looked at him and she said, now Willie, look on yonder. Meanest old man I ever did see. I'm telling you right now, Willie, look at him. Mean as you want to be. Oh, mean as old rattlesnake is. They worth 10 on bulls. Willie said, that may be so, Hattie Mae. And just like Mad Mac, he reached down and pulled a blade of grass. Stuck it between his teeth. And he said, Hattie Mae, that may be so that he's me. But there is nothing like the sound of gunfire that sent a snake scurrying back into the bushes from whence it came. Y'all thought he was gonna kill him, right?
Yeah.
You like it?